You know that moment. The book is on your desk, the exam is tomorrow, and the clock keeps ticking, yet you still haven't started. You tell yourself, I'll begin in 5 minutes. But 5 minutes becomes an hour. Suddenly you're studying with a racing heart at 2 a.m. And let's be honest, you probably clicked this video because you're tired of doing this to yourself. You'll soon find out you're very likely one of the three types of last-minute learners we're about to explain. So stick with me because at the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to break the cycle for good. The first group, the pressure seekers. Some people don't avoid studying, they avoid starting. For them, beginning feels heavier than the work itself. They don't feel urgency, not until the deadline breathes down their neck. This is often rooted in something psychologists call the arousal procrastination cycle. Their brain actually performs better under intense pressure, or at least it believes it does. The adrenaline, the countdown, the late-night silence, it awakens a version of them they can't access during the calm. It's not that they enjoy suffering, it's that urgency becomes their fuel, a way to silence every distraction and finally focus. Without the pressure, their mind wanders. With it, everything becomes sharp. But that performance boost comes with a cost: exhaustion, anxiety, and the constant feeling of living life in a last-minute sprint. The second group, the hidden perfectionists. On the surface, perfectionists seem hardworking, but when it comes to starting, they freeze. Why? Because the moment they begin, they must face the possibility that it won't be perfect. Psychologists refer to this as fear of failure avoidance. It's easier to delay than to try and discover that their best might not be good enough. Starting late gives them a shield. If they do poorly, they can say, well, I didn't even study properly. It protects their self-worth. To others, it looks like procrastination, but internally it's self-protection, a way to avoid the pain of not meeting their own expectations. The third group, the reward chasers. And then there are those who don't study late because of pressure or perfection, but because studying offers no instant reward. This is the group most students struggle with today. Modern life has trained their brain to crave quick hits of pleasure. Scrolling, notifications, games, and snacks all deliver instant dopamine. Studying doesn't. The brain sees no immediate payoff, so it rejects the task until panic makes the reward finally feel real. Psychologists call this delayed reward discounting. Your brain undervalues long-term benefits unless the deadline is close enough to feel urgent. So your mind chooses what feels good now instead of what helps later. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's a brain wired for instant satisfaction, living in a world full of distractions. And studying can't compete until the last minute. So before we talk about solutions, ask yourself gently, which one feels like you? Now that you understand why you study at the last minute, here's the good news. You aren't stuck with that habit forever. Once you become aware of the psychology behind it, changing it becomes so much easier. And if you stay until the final tip, you'll hear that one tip that separates consistent students from last-minute survivors. Tip 1. Make starting effortless. The hardest part of studying isn't the studying itself, it's starting. Your brain turns a simple task into something huge, which makes you delay it. So instead of telling yourself you need to study for hours, give yourself permission to begin with just 2 minutes. 2 minutes feels so small that your brain won't fight it. And once you start, something interesting happens. Those 2 minutes almost always turn into 10, then 20, and often a full session. Even if you only do the 2 minutes, it's still progress. You're teaching your brain that starting isn't scary. Small starts build big habits. Starting small isn't a sign of weakness, it's a strategy. Tip 2. Use short, focused study sprints. Long study sessions drain your motivation before you even begin. If your brain knows you're about to sit and study for hours, it will look for any excuse to avoid it. Instead, tell yourself you're only going to focus for a short burst. Around 25 minutes of focus followed by a short break works beautifully. After a few rounds, take a longer break. This keeps your brain fresh and prevents burnout. And because you know a break is coming, your mind finds it easier to stay focused during the work period. You're creating a balance between effort and recovery, which helps your brain associate studying with manageable energy. not exhaustion. Tip 3. Add instant rewards to your study routine. If you're the reward chaser type, this is the one you need. One of the reasons you avoid studying is because it doesn't give your brain a reward right away. Your mind has been trained to choose things that feel good now. Scrolling, snacking, watching something, talking to friends. So you need to bring the reward into the study session itself. Make studying feel enjoyable in the moment. Create a cozy setup, make a warm drink, play music that helps you focus, or study somewhere that inspires you. And when you finish a study sprint, give yourself a moment of enjoyment, something small that tells your brain, studying brings good feelings. You're teaching your mind that studying isn't a punishment. It can feel good today, not just after the exam. Tip 4. Study smart, not more. A lot of students waste time trying to learn everything perfectly, when in reality, not everything matters equally. The truth is, a small part of the material usually leads to most of your grade. So before you start studying, pause for a moment and think about what actually matters most. Ask yourself which topics show up the most, what your teacher is likely to test you on, and which areas you struggle with the most. When you begin with the high-value material, you learn more in less time. This removes the pressure of "I have to do it all" and replaces it with "I'm focusing on what counts." Studying smart isn't cheating, it's efficient. It frees time, reduces stress, and gives better results. Tip 5. Become the type of person who studies early. This tip is the long-term game changer. You can use every hack in the world, but if you still believe you're someone who always studies last minute, you'll return to that pattern. Real change begins with identity. Shift the way you speak about yourself. Instead of saying, "I have to force myself to study," say, "I'm becoming the kind of person who studies early and calmly." At first, it will feel uncomfortable because it doesn't match your past. But every time you sit down to study even a little earlier, even for 5 minutes, you are proving that identity true. You don't need to transform overnight. You just need to show yourself today that studying early is possible. Each small action is a vote for the person you want to become. Tip 6. Don't study alone. Build connections and accountability. Here's something most students overlook. Studying becomes so much easier when you don't do it alone. Humans are wired for connection, and motivation often grows when we feel supported, seen, and accompanied by others working toward the same goals. When you surround yourself with people who also want to improve, you borrow each other's motivation. You remind each other why you started. And you hold each other accountable, not through pressure, but through encouragement. If you've ever studied with a friend, joined a group call, or even just told someone your goals, you know how powerful this can be. It turns studying from an isolated battle into a shared journey. And that's exactly why we built our student community on Discord. To connect students from around the world who want to study better, stay consistent, and support each other. Inside, you can find people to co-study with, share progress, ask questions, motivate each other, and celebrate wins together. When you have others checking in with you, you're far less likely to fall back into last-minute habits.